Hi, and welcome back to That Chick Angel TV. I am in my car once again. I'm on my way to Maker Studio, but I wanted to get this done. So this is another what I love, what I hate. Most importantly, it's Black History Month. Woo-hoo! Now, even though it is a very short month, I still get excited because Black History Month really forces me to look at my history and learn new things. I have always been very inquisitive when it came to my culture, my history, what my ancestors had to go through. So I do appreciate just having time to really focus on that. So for what I love, what I hate, we're going to talk about movies. Specifically, movies that are either mainly African-American cast, that either take a deeper look into Black culture, Black history, anything like that. So, the hot movie out this year is 12 Years a Slave. Oh, this movie was phenomenal. I actually watched it on Super Bowl Sunday because I'm not a big Super Bowl fan. And I have to say, it just really was so good. I'm actually going to watch it again because I missed bits and pieces, because actually a couple of ladies came over when I was watching the movie because they wanted to watch it as well. And between them talking, asking questions, and kids asking for cookies and milk and stuff, I missed pieces. So I'm going to watch it again. Most people would be like, you're going to watch it again? It was just so much. But, you know, from so much that I've learned growing up, like when I was in high school is when I really started going in on Black history and really learning about my culture. A lot of stuff does not surprise me. So real quick synopsis of 12 Years a Slave. It's based on a true story, a book that the man who went through it actually wrote. His name was Solomon. I can't remember his last name. He was a freed man living in the north part of the country, the northern states of the United States of America, who was hoodwinked by two white men who said they were going to hire him as a magician because he was a very, not a magician, a musician. He was a very good violinist or fiddle player. And they were going to have him play in their circus. So they were like, we'll pay you. This will be great. So basically, they take him on the road. They drug him up one night and sell him into slavery in the South, where slavery was still going strong. Okay. And this man spent 12 years as a slave because no one would believe that he was a freed man until one of his white friends from the North was given word of where he was at and came down there to vouch that this man was a free man and was being held as a slave illegally. So we had to see this man endure whipping another slave out of just pure anger that the slave master had over him being just obsessed with this black woman. We got to see him almost be hung to death, and the only thing that really was keeping him alive is that he was able to stand on his tippy toes for several hours so he wouldn't strangle himself. We got to watch him endure seeing two black men being hung on his way to go to the store to get some stuff for his master. We got to see him we got to see how freed slaves or freed blacks and slaves that had more privileges were turned their nose down at slaves that had to work in, like, as servants. You know what I'm saying? Like, there were some that had more privileges that actually had people that waited on them. They still weren't free, but they had people wait on them and stuff like that. They would look down at those that had to work in the field and put in that sweat and tears and blood into it. It was just crazy. And then you got to see how disgusting some white people were back then. Like, seeing this mistress of the slave master, this is the white woman, beat this black woman in the face because she was so outright jealous that her master was just in lust with this woman. And that's what it was. It was complete lust. Just, raping her and just feeling like she's my property, so I can do whatever I want to her. I mean, they were treated, slaves were treated just like property, like a horse. I'm from Kentucky, so horses are bought and sold all the time, and they're showed off like prized possessions. You look at their body parts to see if they're in good shape. So we got to see naked black people be looked at as if, they were a piece of property. Like, oh yeah, this boy will be strapping. Look at how high he can pull up his knees. We got to see a woman be her family torn apart because it would be more profitable for the person who was selling them. And when she was still weeping when she had been sold over her kids, the white woman was like, oh, you just need to eat and get some rest. You'll forget about those kids in no time. Like a daggone dog to puppies. Like, it was hellacious. So for me, none of the stuff shocked me. But anytime I see stuff like that, I wonder, how does that much evil reside in so many people at once? You know, when we hear about a Jeffrey Dahmer, we just think, oh my God, that's an evil person. But when you hear that an entire culture thought it was okay to treat black people this way, it's just like, how does that evil, what was in the water, what is in your spirit that would make you treat someone so poorly? And, you know, just watching this, it really reminds me that I have to live my life with purpose, because I know that I am descendants of slaves. So I know that my people, my great-great-grandmother, I think I just need to go back twice, great-great. It's either great-great or great-great-great-grandmother and grandfather were slaves, and that they more than likely had to endure something this horrific. And then they had to be able to give birth to someone who was able to endure something. Oh, I'm going the wrong way, people. Endure something horrible as well. How am I supposed to just be lazy and not live a life full of purpose? You know, to know that my mother went through the civil rights movement, and she used to pick cotton in the South for 3 cents a pound because she was a sharecropper's granddaughter, and that was what they would pay them. And now she's a successful businesswoman making well over 6 figures. How am I not supposed to not want to be successful? Hey, I got 2 degrees working on 3rd. Like, what type of foolishness is that? So when I see young people of any race just, you know, with just acting foolish and not getting anything done with their life, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. There were people who were slaves, and you got a place to live, and ain't nobody busting open your back because you need soap. You know what I'm saying? So it's something else that it really made me, you know, I have always been very I want to say, I don't know if the word is enamored, but the Jewish people, their Jewish culture, I've always been just like amazed by them. Just out of the strength, you know, they went through the Holocaust that was just from the 1930s to the 1940s. And they got, you know, a museum, and they're like, never forget. They're not playing about that. They're not about to forget what they went through. Slavery in America was over 200 years, and you got little black kids that have no idea. They're like, slavery, that's when Martin Luther King freed the daggone slaves. You got housewives, people on television, Portia Stewart on Atlanta Housewives, thinking that the Underground Railroad was an actual train that had a conductor. Like, I just feel like, you know, in the Jewish culture, they're not playing with that. You're not going to forget what we went through, and my kids are going to know. We're going to know our culture. Where in, you know, the black culture, you got kids that are just so confused, and slavery was over 200 years long. Okay? I just, you know, this is not a funny vlog, as you can see, because we're talking about slavery. But it just, that movie, I'm going to tell you what, even if, you know, because I got people in New Zealand, I got some folk in Mexico that watch my channel. If you have never seen 12 Years a Slave or any type of documentary dealing with slavery in the United States, this does not tell the whole story, but it is a really good one to watch, because I feel like they don't try to soften the blow too much about what happened in slavery. So they really, I think they try their best to give it to you as raw as possible but also making it watchable at the same time. I suggest you watch it. It's so good. I thought it was amazing that the director was from London, and then the 2 main actors are also not from America. But the fact that they were able to connect to the story to a point, because at the end of the day, this is about humanity. It's not just about black or white. It's about taking someone who is a human and treating them like a dog. Okay, treating them worse than a dog. I've seen homeless people treat their dogs better than what people were treated as slaves. So, it's just a great thing to watch, and to know that this is real deal Holyfield. As much as Hollywood put its hands on it, like, this happened. This is not, you know, a Harry Potter book where there's just an evil sorcerer. No, people were freaking evil. Okay? evil. So here's my question for you all to put down at the bottom. Why do you think a whole entire culture could be or would be that evil? Like, I just don't understand it. I don't. Granted, I am not, I'm not in either one of those shoes. I was not a slave, nor was I a slave owner. But what do you think would cause a person to act in such an evil way to one person? And we're not talking about what we see today with like bullying. Don't even compare it to that, because that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about slavery, okay? So what do you think would make someone that innately it just seems like it was bred out of them to be that evil? All right, leave that in the comment box below. Also, if you got any questions for me, you know what to do. #AskAngel. Make sure you watch me on the Mom's View. Please share. Please like it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Come on now. Subscribe to my channel. Have a beautiful, wonderful rest of February. I'll probably see you all actually tomorrow on Friday. And we'll be talking more about more black movies for the rest of, the black stuff for the rest of the month of February. And yeah, thanks guys so much. Love you.